Welcome to the Share the Transformation Initiative podcast. My name is Ernst Fenelon Jr. I'm your host, and we're about to go into episode 5. In episode 5 today, we're going to explore one of the most powerful forces when it comes to transformation, whether it's causing the transformation or blocking the transformation. It is the same identity. So we'll be looking at identity today, because lasting transformation doesn't begin when your circumstances change. It begins when your understanding of who you are changes. And when your identity changes and who you understand who you are, your choices change. And when your choices change, your habits change. And when your habits change, your life changes. And then it moves from just change to transformation. As I often allude to, the caterpillar and the butterfly. When that transformation process happens, the creature that was once a caterpillar is now a butterfly, cannot go back to being a caterpillar. It is the same for us, except we don't get these fancy, beautiful wings and long legs. We begin to change more internally, more psychologically. And these are the areas where we're talking about identity. A real simple definition might be identity is who you believe you are. Your identity is not your job, but it may limit your jobs. Your identity is not your income, but it will definitely limit your income. Your identity is not your past, but it will definitely play out into the future if you are constantly identifying with your past, particularly your mistakes. And your identity is not what happened to you. There's one thing about being a victim and one thing about being a survivor. And understanding the difference of the two is going to be critical in understanding identity change. I'm not trying to mitigate or lessen traumas. Traumas are things that have happened that stop you from being in the present, being able to function or think of a future. What I'm saying is things that have happened to you don't define you, particularly, for example, those who are currently and formerly incarcerated. Identity is a story you tell yourself about who you are. This story influences how you believe, how you think, how you feel, how you act, how you attempt, what you avoid, and ultimately, what you make of your life. And so these are really important concepts to really hold on to in understanding the shape of identity. So let me start with this question. If everything you have ever done, good, bad, happy, or sad, everything that has ever happened to you, and every label anyone has ever placed on you were stripped away, who would you be? This is important because when you understand who you are, then those are factors of how you identify. Additionally, I would ask, do you identify even with your shape? For example, I remember talking with somebody who we had a conversation. If we lost our right arm, would we still be who we are? Yeah. And then if we lost our left leg, would we still be who we are? Well, yeah, sure. What about if we, lost our nose? Or even more importantly, especially for men, if something happened, to your private parts, would you still be who you are? And the person I was talking to paused for a second, because apparently much of their identity was based on their anatomy. And the question then comes in, is that who you are? Let that sink in for a minute. Again, would you be the same or still be the person that you see today if all those were taken away? All your past triumphs and failures, successes, labels, if that's all taken away, would you still be the same person you see today? Or have you allowed all of those different components to be your identity, particularly other people's opinions of yourself? I think that's a really important one, because so many people conform to the judgment of who others think they are. Who you are is your character. What do you consistently or regularly do? Your reputation is what people think you are. Too many people allow others' opinions to become their identity. See, ultimately, you want to make sure your identity is going to match what you are trying to transform to. So there's a saying of be, do, have. The first stage is, who are you being right now? So if you want to be a CEO, you have to have an idea of what does a CEO do that's different from the average worker, or what are the behaviors. And for me, I remember when I wanted to be a CEO like I am now, one of the things I didn't really focus in on was making sure I identified with a very successful CEO, financially stable CEO, because just that title alone is not enough. I definitely have gotten the work of a CEO, but I did not match it with a financial stability. So one of the things I did was that I identified what a CEO does, but I didn't go all the way with it, particularly in how they think, feel about money. One of the keys in transformation is understanding a relationship with money. So as I begin to shift that identity to where I'm already in that place, the title will catch up, being financially sustainable, stable, and financially free. Those are things I already possess, and I'm walking into them. This is a mindset that took a while to get into, because one of the aspects was I always had a relationship with money that when a big pile comes, that it just goes away. And so shifting my identity regarding money is very critical, and so it is with most people. This is where your job, your income, your ability to grow matters. At the end of the day, you want to live a life where you challenge yourself enough that the things you wanted to try or do, you did, and you have little regrets as to how shoulda, woulda, coulda. So one of the ideas of be to have is the idea of who are you being? Who are you being right now? What are the characteristics? Again, what are the habits, the characteristics, the behavior, the mindset? I mentioned the book, The 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class, and talk about the world class and the regular class. And they were talking about this idea that there's two different mindsets. Just some people see scarcity, some people see abundance. Some people see failure as an ultimate title. Other people see failure as a learning lesson. People who are successful just happen to have had more failures than the person who stopped trying. Once you begin to identify the characteristics and behaviors of this person, you begin to do what they do, whatever that characteristic is. If it's somebody who is physically healthy, it might be how you sleep, how you hydrate, how you exercise, how you get sun, how you get fresh air, how you work out. An easy to understand example of the be, do, and then have is this idea that once you begin to do the behaviors and characteristics and disciplines, then the having part is just a natural outcome of much of that connection. For example, when we think of the Lion King, and we think of Simba, when he was growing up, he understood that he was a lion, but when he was chased off, he forgot what a lion does or behaves as. The pivotal scene where he is reminded who he is. And that caused him to have to change his behaviors, how he ate, how he moved, how he talked, how he roared, all of that. So that's a very important lesson in understanding this idea that identity is critical to what results we're going to get and how we get them. Be, do, have. Your identity is a lens through which you see yourself and the world. So it's not just how you see yourself, but the world. Woe is me. Everything happens to me. You know, the question I often ask people, do you believe the universe is conspiring for you or against you? Your identity is the lens through which you see yourself and the world. And if you change your identity, you can change your life. You can transform your life. The world suddenly does not become everything is happening to me. It's not just the universe is conspiring against me. It's the universe is conspiring for me. Every delay is not a deny. Every opportunity where things didn't work out opens up the door for something else or redirects towards a different direction. When you begin to shift that lens, then you shift how you see yourself, what standards you operate by, and what you're willing to accept and not accept. That's going to be the part that creates a transformation. You see, you cannot permanently perform or have the behaviors consistently beyond the identity you have subconsciously about yourself. Another example I often refer to is, usually we hear it about lottery winners, but we could think about the top sports athletes. A lot of those people who suddenly come into a lot of money. Most of us complain. If we had more money, all of our problems would be gone. That is our belief. But the reason why the money generally for many of us doesn't stay and creates more problems, and in some cases may make our situation worse rather than better, is our identity. Think of a cup that is 8 ounces but is trying to hold 12 ounces of water. The water is just going to spill out and go away. It'll be able to maintain 8 ounces, but it will not be able to hold 12 ounces. Conversely, most people have an 18-ounce cup or 32-ounce jug, and they're putting in 1 cup of water because of how they see themselves. If hard work was a sole indicator of why people are wealthy, then many of the people who are in impoverished countries would be very wealthy. They work extremely hard, but that's not the only part. And yes, I know there's a whole bunch of reasons for their condition, but I'm using this as the example to lay out the idea that we have to shift how we see ourselves from the 8-ounce container to a 32-ounce container in order to hold all of the things we say we want to transform. Wonderful marriages, happy, healthy life, wealth, health, all of those things. It would require greater capacity than where we are now. Transformation is not just changing our habits. True transformation happens again when our identity changes or transforms, our self-perception changes, our beliefs change. The biggest challenge is most people change behavior, and I use exercise or getting fit as an example. We spoke about it before. People will have a spark, maybe an event will be coming up, maybe the end of the year, maybe a health crisis, and suddenly there's this change. They want to get healthy, and they'll start doing the things that they need to do to be that healthy. The reason why they don't stick is because, once again, to be at that level, you need a bigger container of self-identity. And therefore, as the water spills out, at first it fills up, but then as it spills out, they go back to being that 8-ounce container. They go back to being the person who isn't fit because they did not transform how they see themselves. If identity is the idea of how we see ourselves, how do we get that lens? Who told us who we are and what we're capable of doing? Is it true what they said? Because definitely in many cases we believe it to be the full truth and nothing but the truth. But what if I told you that the greatest prison is not physical, but psychological? What if you get out of a physical prison, whether it's the physical prisons with the bars that we're aware of, or an economic situation or a disastrous situation, you get out of it, but you still take it with you. See, prisons are not just a physical construct, they're a psychological, in some cases, a spiritual construct. Sometimes we have to pay attention to what version of ourselves have we accepted that no longer serves us into our present and into our future. One of the biggest things I've shared with people that I talked to recently was our past is exactly that. It no longer exists except in our mind, in the minds of others who may have been at a particular event. The impact that we allow our past to have on us dictates our present, and it absolutely will have impact on our future. The key is to not allow yourself to be defined solely by your past in the negative sense. Identity shifts behavior, and remember, behavior or your actions is part of who you become, which is your characteristics. People act consistently with who they believe they are. We talked about exercise, we can talk about saving money, we can talk about what they feel about money, we can talk about what they feel about health. Someone who is always identifying as, man, I'm always short, I'm always need money, I always need, rather than that they have enough. One great example I had when I went to Uganda, we went to someone's house, and it was a really nice, considering parts of Uganda are undeveloped in a lot of places. This was a very developed piece of land. They had a gate, they had a nice home. I joked with the person, I said, wow, you're rich. And they were like, no. And they were very humble about it. They were just saying, I have enough. Now, when was the last time that you know somebody from the Western culture who says, I have enough? Right? This idea of what we always beat ourselves up in the negativity of saying, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I always need more. I always need more. Whereas somebody who says, I have enough, or this is enough for me. This is a very powerful mindset shift that can help adjust our identity to one that when blessings come, they're not seen as a problem. And the person who has enough, that doesn't mean they have to turn down blessings. They understand the blessings of whatever it is, particularly wealth, they have enough. And then they can use that wealth maybe to bless others, as we've seen some people who are very wealthy who are giving away a lot of their money while they're alive, because they realize they have enough to live on for the rest of their natural life, or unnatural life in some cases. People act consistently with who they believe they are. Someone who identifies as being powerful and capable of doing anything is going to behave differently than someone who maybe either feels shame or guilt or just feels powerless. Your life will move in the direction of your identity. So if you're feeling stuck, you might be hitting a ceiling, right? This famous ceiling that people talk about. One of the things of identity that's so critical is your comfort zone. As you've grown into this comfort zone, whatever it is right now, a comfort zone is a space where you feel you can function. And it's almost like a thermostat. The temperature is regulated. So if it gets too cold, you will turn up the temperature and you'll get back up to a certain degree. If it gets too hot, it's going to bring it back down to that temperature and make sure it stays there. The question is, can you naturally increase how you see yourself with enough degrees to be transformed into the life that you wish to get to? Identity is in the labels we carry. We carry so many labels from our family. This idea that these labels, they define us. They define how far we can stretch, how far we can go, what we're supposed to do. We have societal labels. Prison, there's labels of different things, some that will definitely endanger your life. We have trauma labels. We have financial labels, and we have failure labels. All of these different labels we use as our identity to limit what we are allowing ourselves to do, allowing ourselves to be, allowing ourselves to have. Just because something happened to you does not mean it has to define you. Again, not minimizing traumas or disabilities. I have suffered many physical traumas that do impact what I get to do to a certain degree. My past doesn't define me. In many cases, there's 10% of the things in the world I can't do, but there's 90% I do get a chance to do. And so if I focus in on the 90, my life is full and fulfilled. If I focus in on the 10%, then it's miserable. The key is understanding that it does not have to define you what has happened to you. Now, in rebuilding or building a new identity, you're going to have a new foundation. And in building that new foundation, once you have the foundation laid down, then you're going to have to build potentially with different material. And part of that may come into your intentionality. Some studies say that we think the same thoughts, 95% of our thoughts are this repeats from the day before. Only 5% has the opportunity to be new thoughts. So we spoke about how do you fill in that 5%. And if you keep adding 5% every day, it begins to flow into the 95%. And pretty soon, over a certain period of time, you have a new way of thinking, a new way of behaving, a new way of being. What are you doing to shift where you've been thinking for the last part of your life? Whether it's a week, a month, 5 years, 10 years, your whole life. What are you doing? Who are you talking to? How do you talk to yourself? Who do you listen to? What are you doing to shift your thinking as to what is available to you in resources? So really understanding your subconscious is going to dictate and control much of your thought patterns. How do you shift that? So what podcasts are you listening to? What books are you reading? What is your association? What is your affirmations or mantras about what the opportunities are there for you? I know there's a lot of different ways. Some people have vision boards, they have affirmation statements. I've had all of those, but again, I changed behavior, but I didn't change identity. Identity is shifted at a core level, and it can be shifted in the blink of an eye. The key comes in is understanding why doesn't it shift? Or when you do shift it and you say, okay, I'm going to be a famous athlete, but then a week later, that thought is not consistently powerful throughout the day. How do you get that to be cemented in? Again, building your foundation and cementing it in. Part of it is being very intentional. Part of it is being present. Part of it is realizing the past is the past. The stories can change, but it's no longer here, and the future is not here yet. Or, according to some beliefs, it's all happening at the same time. But the question is, what version of yourself are you operating from? Are you operating from the one that's no longer here, the one that's not here yet, rather than the present? Becoming self-aware, intentional thinking, using these tools of really finding your purpose, learning to tie back into your intuition. You were given intuition and purpose. Discovering that and healing, whether it's from trauma, whether it's from injury, understanding that the process of healing may take longer than you may have initially thought. But it's going to be worth it because once you're healed, you get to move on. As I hit the age of 60, when I get an injury, a scratch, recently I just scraped my skin on my shin. I scraped up against a metal bar and it's shaved all the way down to that ghastly white. I thought it would have healed and, started scabbing over, whatever. It's taken a very long time to heal. When I went to the nurse to talk to her about it, she smiled and she was like, yeah, it takes a little bit longer as you get older. And I didn't want to accept that at first, but now understanding that it is the idea that healing may take longer sometimes, but it can happen. And once it happens, how do you move into it and how do you move through it? Transformation starts internally before externally. What you think, how you feel, how you regulate those two, what you believe, those are all internal mechanisms. And as you begin to discipline and shift your belief in who you are, according to that, then the external will eventually match. For the lottery winners who, we hear the horror stories, but there are some lottery winners who do get big sums of money, but their identity was already shifted before the big money came. They already knew what they wanted to pay off. They already knew who they wanted to give it to, how they wanted to use it. They had a plan in place because they understood money is just a medium. It's a medium to access services or products as well as freedom. There are some who were able to do that, but their identity was shifted before the money came. And that's the key. As resources come and go, what is your identity when it comes to that? Your future, your present, and your future requires a new self-concept. If you're still having trouble moving forward, then part of the challenge may be, how do you actually see yourself? If you keep hitting this wall, you keep hitting the ceiling, you keep seeming to take one step forward and 3 steps back, it is because that is an identity issue. Let's talk about some practical identity shifts. One of them might be to stop introducing yourself through your pains, through your failures, through your traumas. For me, as I'm going through this change in life, whether from all the things, whether it's divorce, becoming a single parent, all of these different pieces, I used to say, I'm just trying to make I'm just coming through the worst part. Now I say, hey, I'm building a new life. This is my reset. I am starting fresh and new. It is the idea that the opportunity has shifted and now this is a new chapter. Rather than, man, everything is bad. Look what happened to me. I'm just trying to make it. Step 2, watch your language. Words shape identity. Instead of, I'll always fail, or man, I'll always mess up. One of the things that's helped me the most is I try to stay away from ultimatums. Always, never. Those don't help the situation. So instead of saying I always fail, how about, again, when things don't work out, what could I learn from this? If things work out, what can I learn from this? Either way, you're always learning and growing. Everything that happens allows you an opportunity to learn and grow. Things don't work out, what can you learn from this? How can you learn? How can you grow? The next one is aligning your discipline, behaviors, and actions with your future identity. What would the future version of me be doing today is the question you have to ask you right now. There's an exercise we used to do called a day in the life of. What I found powerful from it was if you start from way in the beginning, what time they wake up, what do they do when they wake up, how do they eat, sleep, all the different parts, how do they work, how do they greet people, how do they listening to their self-talk. Huge point to take a note down. Self-talk. How do you talk to yourself? That will tell you a whole bunch about your identity. But what would your future version of yourself be doing? Or how would they be being today? Forget doing. Who would they be? Who would they be today? How are they being? How are they breathing into the moment? In closing, one of the biggest boosters or blockers for transformation is your identity. Transformation is not just becoming somebody else. It's becoming who you were always meant to be beneath the pain, trauma, fear, limitations, your past, all of those facets that can define you. Transformation ultimately will be played out according to your identity. And your identity can be shifted through your words, your behaviors, and focusing on who you're being in every given moment. That will tell you more as to what work you need to do in order to be successful in creating the transformation and then having the ability to share it. Hope you got a lot of value from today. Thank you. Have a great night. We'll see you at the next episode.